have yet to condemn the former president for
No, I don't think.
with the White House.
I don't think anybody should be spending any time with Nick Fuentes. He has no place in this Republican Party. I think President Trump came out 4 times and condemned him and didn't know who he was.
Well, he just said he didn't know who he was. He didn't condemn him or his ideology.
Well, I condemn his ideology. It has no place in society.
What is your take?
And what about the former president for deciding to have that dinner?
And the president didn't know who he was. And the president has given up. You know what? He's been. So he knew who Condem West is. He didn't know who Fuentes is. Yes, sir.
A frustrated Kevin McCarthy seen outside the White House after meeting with President Biden, talking about that meeting that former President Trump had with Nick Fuentes. Yay. Milo Yiannopoulos. All at Mar-a-Lago. That's been, I guess, turning the political world upside down as some more Republicans begin to trickle in with some criticisms of the former president doing that and having that meeting. Well, Kevin McCarthy here, his Republican Party did squeak by and win the House. So he's poised and primed to become speaker as long as he gets those votes. He's trying to keep everyone happy from one side of the factions of the party to vote for him and the other side as well. And while he's doing that, he's trying to keep people like Trump's voters happy, but still trying to toe that line. There's more of him trying to avoid placing the blame on Trump for having that meeting in the first place. Let's watch more.
On the meeting between Trump and Kanye West, was that appropriate?
Look, the president can have meetings with who he wants. I don't think anybody, though, should have a meeting with Nick Fuentes, and his views are nowhere within the Republican Party or within this country itself.
Kanye West has made.
I think Condem West should, and I don't think those are right comments, and I don't think he should associate with him as well.
He should associate with him as well. There's lots there. So first of all, it's the tricky political position of always going, hey, so what do you think about that meeting? Do you think it was appropriate? The answer that Kevin McCarthy gave was he can have meetings with anyone he wants to. That's not what I asked. I didn't say can he have them. I said, do you think it's appropriate that he has meetings with white nationalists? That's always the way that they've been coached up to avoid answering that question, because the real answer, Kevin, which is in your head, is hell no, he shouldn't have had that meeting. But he can't say that, because he can't be an honest person and be a politician and somehow become the head of this of the House Republicans behind Paul Gosar and Marjorie Taylor Greene and people like that, which we'll get to. But first, just from those first couple lies, Conscious, I'm curious about your thoughts.
Man, what really grinds my gears off the bat is the way in which the Republican Party likes to weaponize pedophilia and likes to weaponize the way in which child violence happens. Man, Nick Fuentes and Milo Yapa, whatever the hell his name is, both of them were self-proclaimed anti-Semites as well as pedophiles. You know why Milo got so much time to eat with Kanye West? Because he had to resign because he's a pedophile. You wanna know why Nick Fuentes is also being disavowed? It's because he also advocated for older men to be with younger boys, not to be, you know what I'm saying, mistaken for what Milo also advocated for. So to me, we see a lot of cap, you know what I mean? Candace Owens, Kanye West talking all this yappa about Balenciaga. It's giving selective moral outrage about kids' livelihoods. And then the second thing or the third thing, whatever number I'm on right now, is just like, hey, listen, man, the way in which we think about accessories and proximities and think about like literally you're an accessory to crime. I got a lot of homeboys and family members that's locked up for their proximity to somebody that created crime. I don't get why that same energy isn't applied to individuals that have influence, like, you know what I'm saying, Donald Trump. If I'm next to a drug dealer that's moving kilos, that's gonna be an issue to most law enforcement, to most individuals. It's gonna call into question my credibility and my legitimacy. Now, if Donald Trump is sitting down with an anti-Semite, a pedophile, and another anti-Semite, how come that doesn't call into question his legitimacy, his credibility, his ability to lead? Ran over.
Because people that have to make that determination don't really want to. We can't connect politicians to the things that they say and they do and the horrible people that they are. I mean, maybe some folks can when it's an opponent, but we write that off as just politicking. Let's go back to some of them.
It was BLM or another rapper they don't like outside of Kanye West. They would have no issue in being able to say, hey, listen, you created a climate that led to X, Y, and Z. You feel me? When we start talking about Targets getting burned down and CVS is getting burned down, we can start talking about who is close to this and who created that climate. You see what I'm saying? But if a John Doe, Lone Star go into a Walmart or to a church and shoot it up, we ain't talking about climates. You feel me? We ain't talking about the way in which dog whistles is used.
Now, by the way, the reason why they have that law that comes and say you're driving a car and then the guy ran into the store and robbed it and jumped back out and you took off. I didn't shoot anybody, I didn't go in the store, but you drove, so you're just as culpable for that murder as the shooter was. The reason for that is to make sure that we keep people from doing that, being involved in such a thing. You can be involved to that small nature, but you're still just as culpable. Now, if we did it to the same degree with politicians, especially powerful ones like Donald Trump, we'd have to hold them accountable, and that's something that we're just not interested in a general politics. Now, to more of what Kevin McCarthy wants to talk about in not holding Donald Trump accountable, there's a reason why. Again, like I said, he wants to be Speaker of the House. He needs to keep those voters happy. So this is what he did just a few days after January 6th, when Kevin McCarthy said Trump is responsible for what happened at the Capitol when his violent supporters ran up in there and tried to overturn an election. Here he was on January 28th at Mar-a-Lago hanging out with Donald Trump. That's fun. Took a picture with the guy to make sure he knows, hey, I'm still on your side. That whole criticism that I gave you, that one sentence I said, I'm sorry. Again, this is him building the building blocks. This is in 2021, building blocks for the midterm elections, hoping Republicans would win, and then he gets his chance to be Speaker. It's all about power. Okay, so there's more about this. So after that, he then kissed the ring, as I pointed out. But then he went ahead and he's making sure he says this about some of those folks who do associate with Nick Fuentes and those guys. Watch more.
With regards to Republicans who have been stripped of their committee assignments by this majority, do you plan to give Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar their committee assignments back if you take the majority?
They'll have committees. The committee assignment they have now, they may have other committee assignments. They may have better committee assignments. I think with Gosar, those are the ones he wants. Taylor Greene, she was just a freshman. I know she was requested others. She has a right to serve on committees.
She has a right to serve on committees. Again, I want you guys to keep in mind how he said, I don't believe in this anti-Semitism. I don't know about Donald Trump. I mean, it wasn't his fault. He said he disavowed him 4 times. I don't believe in it, he says. Kevin McCarthy doesn't believe in anti-Semitic views. It's weird because he's talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene getting her committee hearings back. She associated with this guy who is a huge anti-Semite. Watch that.
And now they're going on about Russia and Vladimir Putin is Hitler, and they say that's not a good thing. And can we give a round of applause for Russia? Yes. Absolutely, absolutely. We are honored, we are humbled and excited to welcome to the stage right now for our first speech, and we love to get to know her much better. I think this is going to be the beginning of something great. The representative from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene associated with Nick Fuentes, the same Nick Fuentes that associates with Ye, who associated with Donald Trump, who Kevin McCarthy said he shouldn't have associated with, but it's okay if it's Ye, but it's not okay if it's Fuentes. Is it okay if it's Marjorie Taylor Greene associating with Fuentes? Because she did. There's one other guy associated with Fuentes as well, who Kevin McCarthy said he's giving positions back to. Let's look at that tweet. Because Eric Hananoki, over from Media Matters, I believe. He said they compiled 33 examples of Paul Gosar embracing and promoting anti-Semitic media figures and outlets since 2021. And 33 of these is a low number probably. So Conscious, I'm just connecting all the players together in this whole thing. Kevin McCarthy's trying to sever it at certain points. So again, he gets his power.
It's so much to unpackage with that one. I think
I'm sorry.
The first thing that comes to mind is the reason why a lot of black folks been pissed off about the different energy that we have for anti-blackness when it comes to anti-Semitism and vice versa, and I'm saying both ways. In many different instances, we see how when you have political, authority or political influence, the way in which you are oppressed up to particular identities, it seems to be negotiated. And I think that is what's making a lot of individuals in the black community recognize that both anti-Semitism and anti-blackness is wrong. But the way in which our media sensationalizes how individuals are a part of that has to do a lot with identity. Second thing I'm thinking about in terms of unpackaging is the way in which all lives matter. The way in which life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness is supposed to work. So on one instance, we're supposed to be fighting against Russia because they are international ops. And on one instance, we're supposed to be already against Nazism because all 5 of the militaries is fighting against it. I don't get how the respect for the military and patriotism works when you are either A, aligning yourself with Nazis, or B, talking about Russia this, Russia that. To me, it's just a whole bunch of hypocrisy of democracy. And I don't give a darn about you talking about this republic. You feel me? I could think of something else that rhymes with that. But that's how I feel about that.
It's the approach that they're going to continue to take, and we'll see. Because Kevin McCarthy, there was, I think, one other Republican came out today, or maybe late yesterday, and said he's 20 votes short of winning that speakership. So he is scrambling and he's looking for that spot. So he's willing to do anything. So keep an eye on Kevin McCarthy. He's trying stunts, he's trying positions. We'll see, right?